Hey guys, welcome. In this presentation, I'm going to talk to you about crafting the perfect offer and why it's so fundamental for everything you're trying to do, okay? If you're trying to build a business, trying to go online, trying to scale, or you're working on clients, if you're an agency, having the perfect offer nailed down before you do anything else is so important, right? It's just, that typical analogy of building on a good foundation. You can't build a house on a bad foundation, and the same is true for your marketing. I've generated tens of millions of dollars and I've worked with literally hundreds of businesses, and some businesses are way easier for us to scale and make money fast out the gate or within the first 3 months, and that comes down to them having a unique offer or the perfect offer, okay? So if you're trying to make money online, or you're trying to scale your business, or you're trying to scale clients' businesses, it doesn't matter if the perfect offer isn't in place, then you're going to have a much harder time, okay? You might get 6 or 12 months in and not have a bunch of traction because this offer isn't crafted. So this is so important, because everything you're going to do in future and in future modules and learning from me and applying it and trying to grow your business or your clients' businesses, none of that matters if this isn't in place. So let's dive in. So first part is the origin story, okay? And I'm just kind of using these slides to give you cliff notes, but I'm going to speak you through most of the key points. So the origin story around the offer is very important, and most people don't really think about a story behind an offer, okay? So if you look at all the best brands and offers online or on the internet or selling, they have a very unique story and what I would call an origin story, okay? So it's something basically that tells the story of the brand. And when you're selling online, especially, having an origin story that resonates with your avatar, which I'm going to discuss in a minute, is so important. If you don't have a story that resonates, you're just another brand like millions of other brands out there, okay? So what you need to do is spend some time and really craft a story, craft the origin story, the reason, the passion behind the product or the business, the reason the business was born, okay? I've worked with clients that already do tens of millions of dollars and they don't have this origin story nailed down, and that makes everything else we do in marketing way harder. So one example is, we worked with a big food business. They provided prepared meals and drinks, and they had a ketogenic low carb product line, which just means, there's no carbohydrates. And the reason that line had been created was the founder's dad had diabetes and was super sick, and he went on a ketogenic diet but couldn't stick to it. So what the founder did for his father was created meals and drinks that were super consumable and easy to take on the go. And, long story short, these drinks and meals helped fix the diabetes and the health issues, okay? And so that's a super impactful story, right? You could build a whole marketing funnel and messaging and brand around that, and this company was doing millions of dollars, and the founder had never spoke about that story, which to me as a marketer that understands the importance of this blew my mind. And so then we built this story around the brand, and obviously it became much easier to market too, right? And the brand had more presence now because it had an origin story. So that's a great example of an origin story. It's a great example also how there's millions of businesses out there right now that don't have this, and they still survive, right? They just don't thrive like they could because they haven't nailed this down. So go away, think about your origin story, and then use it in all your marketing messages. So in your funnels, in your ads, in your sales pitch, whatever you're doing, in your website, you've got to base it around that origin story. So next is your audience, okay? And it is very interconnected with the origin story, and it's also very interconnected with what I'm going to teach you in the rest of today's modules and today's presentation. So everything relates back to your audience, much like your origin story. This is the other foundation to the house. If you don't know your audience and your avatar, everything you do is going to fail or be suboptimal. Like, I'm 100% sure on that, and that's a proven point in marketing, that everything has to resonate with your audience, okay? And if you try and go and build a funnel or make sales or advertise or do anything else around your business without being crystal clear on your audience, you're not going to get the results you're hoping for. Now, more importantly, another big part of your audience, or what we call your avatar, is not only you understanding it, but being able to relay it in all your marketing and all your messaging, and then even internal within your own business. If you have a bigger business with employees, every employee should know who your avatar is, and they should be able to describe who your avatar is, okay? And we'll get into more details into avatars and audience creation in future. But for now, it's vital to understand that everything that's going to come from here on in is based on that avatar. So the color scheme you use on your website, the way you type and talk, and the copy on the website, the videos you make, the product design or the product offer, how you engage with customers. Everything is going to be coming back to that avatar or audience, and it must connect with it. If it doesn't, it's not going to do well. If it does and it connects really, really well and the origin story is there, you're going to be able to market 10 times easier, grow 10 times faster, and make 10 times more revenue, okay? So what you need to do is be very clear on who your audience is. And the way you do this is one very simple question. If I asked you right now, describe your audience in detail, you should be able to tell me my audience is, it's basically like an example scenario. So my audience is Jane. She has 2 children. She earns around $50,000 a year. She's divorced. Her biggest goals are losing weight, and she wants to do this because she lacks confidence, okay? And she's also worried about future health issues that might stop her working with her kids, playing with her kids. She works in this type of career. She has this type of friends. She eats these types of foods. She shops at these types of brands, okay? So you can see the level of depth I'm going in here. And when you have all this laid out, everything becomes easier. So to give you an example, knowing where she shops and her favorite brands, that can now become an interest that you target on Facebook, right? Or an audience. Knowing her age and demographic will change the images you use on your website and your ads. So all these key points are going to link back to everything you do. And if you get this wrong, you're not going to resonate in your marketing message with that avatar or audience, and so nothing's going to convert. So I hope that's clear, and I hope you see how when you're crafting your offer, the audience is fundamental. It's absolutely key that you get it clear out the gate. So next is the pains and goals. So this is an extension of knowing your avatar, right? Because if you don't know who they are, you can't really speak to the pains and goals that they actually have. So think about pains and goals. Think about what, if you went and interviewed 10 of your perfect clients or avatars, what would all the pains be, okay? And then the next part is, what would the goals be? So pains are anything that causes them trouble. And when we're trying to sell something or do any form of marketing, pain is one of the biggest levers that we can kind of pull on, okay? Or involve in our marketing messaging and marketing kind of formula. So understanding the avatar pains and the barriers they have and what they want to move away from. So we move away from pain into pleasure, okay? And when we're writing copy, world famous copywriters and top copywriters, they focus often a lot on moving away from pain into pleasure, because people won't spend money for no reason, okay? People spend money often to move away from pain into pleasure, okay? Or to achieve a goal. So you've got to make sure it's very clear on what those pain points are, and then obviously how your product fixes those, or your service or offer fixes those, and then also about the goals. Because if you understand the goals of your clientele or your avatar when you're kind of creating the offer, you're going to make it very specific to those goals. And remember, being specific to your avatar is fundamental. So go away, write down the different pains they have, bullet point them, and then the different goals that they have, okay? When you've done that, it's going to make everything here on in much easier. Next is the unique selling points. So, even if you have your avatar laid out now, you have the pains that they're going through, you have the goals that they have, you need a unique selling point to differentiate your product, offer, business, service to everyone else's, okay? Because it's no good, there's millions of products here for weight loss, for example. So if I'm just trying to sell another weight loss product and it's not unique, people aren't going to sign up because they've probably tried it 10 times already, okay? So you've got to go away and list what makes your product unique. When we're working with clients, one of the biggest things we're doing is looking for an angle or a hook that we can say in the offer is like, this is the unique spin of this product over everything else. And you've got to remember, when you're creating your offer and your product and your service, most things right now are invented. There's not going to be that much that you invent out of thin air, okay? Most of the most successful companies in the world are taking a current concept that's popular and then putting a unique selling point on it, right? So two of my favorite examples are Uber. Uber took the taxi industry that's been around for decades and they modernized it, okay? They put it on an app on your phone. They cut costs because they cut out taxi ranks and big companies, right? And they made it fast and simple and modern. So they didn't create the idea of paying to get a ride somewhere. That's existed for hundreds of years, even horse and carriage, right? All they did was they put a unique selling point on it and modernized it. Same for Airbnb. The idea of staying in a house, all they did was the hotel industry, they put a spin on it, okay? And again, the idea of renting somewhere to sleep, i.e. hotels, or even renting from friends and different websites that were around before Airbnb, they're not super, it's not a whole new industry or concept, right? It's been around, again, for decades, but they put a unique selling point on it. So think about, you don't have to go and reinvent the wheel here. Just think about and list out what are your most unique selling points, okay? What is unique to you and the product and the offer and the brand that isn't around anywhere else, okay? And you've got to be very clear on this. It's got to be very strong and attractive to your avatar. Remember, it's got to be strong and attractive to your avatar, not to you. If it's not strong and it's not kind of attractive to your avatar and it's not unique, it's not going to sell because it's just going to get lost in the noise. So now benefits and outcomes, okay? So we've understood kind of our avatar's pains. So we now need to create our offer around the benefits and the outcomes, okay? So what if they buy your product or service or they engage with your business? What are the benefits and the outcomes for your avatar, okay? So it's very simple here, like list how their life will become better. And the easiest way to do this is take the pains and flip them, okay? So if my pain is I need to lose weight to feel confident, your benefit is feeling more confident. If your pain is I need to lose weight because I have diabetes or a health risk, the benefit is being risk-free of diseases or reducing risk of diseases and premature death, right? So it's very easy once you understand the avatar and you understand the pains of those avatars. You see how this all connects and why we're doing it in this sequence now, right? Because now the benefits have become very clear, and also the outcome goals. If someone wants to lose weight, what are the outcome goals? Lose 20 pounds. If someone wants to be able to play with their children more, what are the outcome goals? Having more energy, being more mobile, and being risk-free of injury so you can play with your children, okay? So you're just taking those earlier points and flipping them. This is a really strong part of your marketing message. When we're building out funnels and websites, there's a section specifically for this. And if you're doing this exercise, you're already going to have a lot of this fundamental copy and content you need to buffer out your website or your offer or your service or your pitch, okay? So we're laying the foundations now for everything else to be more successful. Okay, so next is timeline, right? Because we're in a modern day world where most of us want results fast. Now, timeline won't apply to every single product, but it will apply to some. And so I wanted to include it to make it very clear, because if you're offering some sort of result, which a lot of us might be doing, right? Weight loss, fitness, we're offering a result. Trying to grow a business or marketing, we're trying to offer a result here, okay? If we're trying to make someone better at a skill, any of that is result based, right? So you need to be very clear on timeline. Timelines in your offer is one of the strongest hooks, and maybe you're not even getting a result. Maybe it's something totally random, right? Like some kitchen appliance, okay, that can cook pancakes, for example, pancake maker. A timeline there could be how it can cook pancake, the perfect pancake, in 3 minutes, whereas everything else in the industry takes 7, right? Or creates the perfect smoothie or juice in under 30 seconds. Another example for weight loss is losing 20 pounds in 20 days versus everyone else is normally 40 days, and you have this unique system that helps lose 20 pounds in 20 days. That would be a unique selling point, right? And that would be a timeline. So you've always, whenever you can, bringing in some sort of time frame or timeline is so key. And it doesn't have to always be crystal clear in the messaging, because Uber, for example, some part of their pitch is you can call a taxi or a Uber or Lyft anywhere in a few minutes, right? It's not the key part of their marketing message, but we all love and enjoy that, and we all use the service for that. If you think about it right now, if you were trying to call Uber or Lyft and it took 20 minutes to get there, like a taxi might if you rang a taxi rank, would you use it as much? Probably not. Most people probably wouldn't. It probably wouldn't be a household brand like it is today. So timelines come into many parts of your business. They come into many parts of your offer, many parts of your copy, your marketing message. So think about timelines in terms of getting a result, achieving an outcome, where your product fits in a timeline, okay? So, you can call an Uber and within normally 5 minutes, you're in the Uber, okay? It's super efficient. So if I was trying to offer my marketing services, rather than just, hey, I can make you money and grow your business, it's like, hey, I can make you money and grow your business, and within the first 20 days you'll have ads running and traffic, and in the first 2 months you'll be making sales, okay? So adding that timeline is just going to accelerate the offer, it's going to strengthen the offer, and it's going to help with the marketing message. Next is urgency. So urgency is like, why do people need to buy now? Because again, we live in a crowded marketplace. There's hundreds of options, and most of the time people need to be pushed over the edge to buy, okay? So urgency is a really important part of the offer creation, especially if you're marketing online when people are going to take spontaneous decisions, and if you lose them, they may never come back, okay? If it's someone buying a house, then it might take some time, right? They've got to view the house, go away, look at other houses, come back, bring family, do surveys, get a mortgage. So that's going to take a little longer. But if you're trying to sell a $50 product or personal training, most of the time you can push the sale, improve conversions, and sell more with urgency. So the easiest way to explain urgency is you often go onto websites, sales pages where they have deadlines, okay? Even, some of my offers, they have deadlines because they start at a certain time, or we've lowered the price, or we've done an email promo. That's very popular for companies. If you look at the biggest sale in the world, Black Friday and Cyber Monday, why do they work so well? They have discounts, crazy discounts, but they also create urgency, right? People line up outside of stores the night before to get into Walmart or Best Buy or other retail stores because of the urgency, right? Same for, the coronavirus. Toilet paper, food, frozen food, hand sanitizer, it all sold out because there was urgency. Even crappy products sold out because of urgency. So if used correctly and if used strongly, you can see how powerful urgency is, right? It can help you sell more of your product faster, and it can even help you stand out from the rest of the crowd if you use it correctly. So figure out in your offer and your product how you can add urgency into that. Next is the guarantee. So especially when we're selling online, guarantees are super important. There's something you've got to consider whenever you're trying to craft an offer, is always try and include where you can a guarantee. Whether you're selling a supplement, whether you're selling a service such as personal training, whether you're selling a product such as a pancake maker or a smoothie maker, it doesn't matter. Ideally, you want a guarantee, right? Even cars have, new cars have manufacturers' guarantees and warranties, right? So, if you go and buy a puppy from the puppy store, they even have guarantees that if you don't like the puppy in the first week or it doesn't get on well, you can bring it back. Same for weight loss. If you try a weight loss plan and you don't get results in 30 to 60 days, you get your money back. Now, guarantees are super important, and if you haven't done this a lot, it might make you uncomfortable at first, but it's really important you add guarantees into your marketing. And just psychologically and also financially, you will make more sales than the refunds from the guarantees, okay? And we all know that as marketers, and the maths have been tested a million times over, that if you offer a guarantee, you're going to sell X amount more, and the refund rate or people taking advantage of that is going to be way less. So it's going to help you, it's going to bring you out on top, and it's also going to help differentiate you, right? So say you're in a market where most people don't offer guarantees. One of your unique selling points could be that guarantee, right? It could be, say you sell cars and they're secondhand cars after 5 years old, so there aren't warranties. Well, maybe your guarantee can be, you only take in cars you've inspected, and you charge a little more for the car, but you include a warranty, right? A third-party warranty that you pay for, but now you roll that into your sales pitch, okay? So they don't know that you're paying for it, and now your guarantee on these used cars is 1 year, no stress guarantee, where if the car breaks mechanically, you'll cover it. And you've already built it into your margins because you're now using a third-party company to fulfill that. But now your unique selling point is you're the only car dealership in town that offers a guarantee on cars over 5 years old. Imagine how powerful that is, and how you would stand out from the crowd, and how your unique selling point would be so unique in that area, okay? So you can use guarantees very strategically. They're going to improve conversions. My final tip on guarantees is make a guarantee so strong and bold that it makes you slightly uncomfortable. If you're able to do that, and you're able to really push a guarantee hard, it's going to work in your favor. Next is price. So price is one of the biggest levers in our marketing, okay? And the perfect offer has to have the perfect price. Now, price is what we do in the marketing world is we split test price a lot. We're going to test price multiple times, and we're going to do a lot of market research to discover the perfect price, okay? And then even when we think we found it, we're going to test it, and you'll always be surprised. So you've got to figure out the price based on market cap, okay, and based on your avatar, and based on your unique selling point. So again, you can see how this all snowballs, right? Because if we didn't know all those factors, we wouldn't be able to establish our price. We would guess, and normally when in business, when you guess and you don't follow logic and research, you usually fail or don't do very well. So we're trying to be logical and smart with our decisions here, right? And establishing a price needs to be based on all of those variables. So there's no right or wrong, in terms of like starting at a price. It's just got to be based on research. So every product's different. So as long as you've done that research and you've weighed up different, different competitors in your space that have similar, unique selling points, warranties, guarantees, urgency, you can now establish a price. The biggest thing is you want to try and fall into two buckets when you're picking that price. So once you've looked at your competitors, you've got to decide the price and how it reflects your offer and brand. And normally it's better to go into the higher or lower tier. A rule of thumb is if you're stuck in the middle, you're in a battleground with everyone else. So what we try and recommend is you either go very high or very low. So a good example is Walmart or Whole Foods. Walmart is at the bottom. It's very cheap. It works as a volume-based business. Whole Foods is the opposite. It's the highest tier of, buying food, okay? It's very expensive, but that is the unique selling point. It focuses on quality and price. So for you, try and fall into one of those two categories. Are you going to go lower with volume, and one of your unique selling points is the cheapest in the market? Or are you going to go higher and offer a premium service? And most of the time, depending on the product, going higher and being very unique and very high quality is a little easier. You get better customers that way. But if you're selling something that's just product based and you can turn thousands over, you might go low ticket to kind of crank volume, okay? So figure out your price, do your research on price, and remember, try and fall into one of those two buckets. Don't try and go in the middle. Risk and reward. So now you've kind of got a lot of this perfect offer pulled together at this point, okay? You've figured out a lot of the key points. You've got to now think about the risk-reward ratio for your avatar to buy, okay? So if your avatar, if you basically followed this presentation and wrote everything out, you almost have all the fundamentals of a sales page ready. So now what you've got to figure out is the risk reward ratio. You've got to figure out, if your avatar pays the money and engages in your service, what is the risk and what are the rewards, okay? And in marketing, when you're creating your offer, the reward obviously has to far outweigh the risk. If the risk is I got to pay $500 and it might not work, and the reward is for that $500 I might lose a pound of body fat, no one's going to do that. The risk is high financial expense. The reward is very low. I'm going to lose a pound of body fat. Now, if it's the opposite, where it's $50 and the reward is that we guarantee you'll lose 10 to 20 pounds of body fat, most people would pay $50 to lose 10 or 20 pounds of body fat, right? You get the idea. So when you're crafting your offer, the risk, i.e. normally the price or the time commitment, has to be far less than the reward and the outcome goals that your avatar has set and that your product can guarantee, or that your product or service promises, okay? So draw out that list. What are the risks? What are the rewards? And hopefully, if you've done everything else correctly, the risk is far lower than the reward. So I hope that helped. That's the end of today. If you have any questions, please let me know. Pulling all this together, you're going to have your perfect offer. You're going to have everything you need to craft it, write the sales message, and really kind of go online or scale in person if you're in person. Everything's going to work more successfully, and everything we do in future is going to come together based off this. So spend the time on these points, rewatch it if you need to, have all your notes ready, because future modules, future lessons, future work you do is going to be dependent on everything you did today.